Yeah, when I was 8, I was like home one night, and then this like man walks into my house, and then my dad's like, "Oh, come meet your tabla teacher." And I'm like, "Oh, sick. Okay."
We would like to acknowledge that we are on stolen Yuggera and Turrbal lands, and as settlers of colour, we reflect upon the damaging legacy of colonisation. Always was, always will be.
My name is SAIE. I'm a DJ, musician, producer from Meanjin, Brisbane, Queensland. At the moment, I'm a DJ, mainly for work and for creative purposes. I really love it. But yeah, I also play music, play like live music. I'm in a band. I produce music as well, for myself and for other people. Just, yeah, just a music guy pretty much. That's pretty much sums it up. I read in your email, we're on island timing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, maybe you're like Fiji Indian. I'm Fiji Indian.
Right.
So I was like, okay, maybe he's Fiji Indian. I wasn't sure. But then Sri Lanka is also an island too. So it's
That's so funny that you're getting into that, because I firmly believe, like, for most people, particularly for, say, people who are part of the dominant culture in any space,
yeah.
it's not a great thing to go like, oh, where are you from? Or are you from here? Like, sort of guess someone's
Yeah.
lineage, like
Yeah.
it's some sort of like game.
But
with you, I was getting that island kind of feel, and
True.
I was gonna, and I noticed like Tabla and like, so I wasn't sure if it was like, I think prior to recently, I was seeing you post from, you went and saw a big concert recently, right?
Yes, I did.
What was that?
Yeah. It was Arjit Singh. He's like a Bollywood singer, like the Top Gun
Right.
Bollywood singer at the moment.
Right.
He's like crazy. He's so good. So good. Yeah.
Right. So that was part of what gave me a hint that you would have been South Asian brown.
Yes, okay,
'cause of the
okay.
Bollywood connection.
Yeah, of course.
And then also reading your bio and then seeing Tabla as an 8-year-old.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
then it's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh, okay, yeah, maybe it's that island.
Yeah.
So was it Fiji? Did you say?
Yeah, so my dad, he's Fijian Indian.
Right.
Then my mum, she's Dutch.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So
I have a Dutch surname and some Dutch lineage as well.
oh, no
from
way.
Sri Lankan.
That's cool. Yeah. So my mum's parents. She's half Fijian Indian, half Dutch. And then, yeah, so her parents met like in London when back in the 60s, 50s.
Right.
And then, yeah, which is like a random mix for back then. Then my dad's just full Fiji Indian. So then, yeah, but then my parents met over here. So, yeah, it's this really random mix, like Dutch and Fiji Indian. There's like, I've never met anyone else with those two.
Okay.
But it's
Right.
cool. It's cool.
Right.
Yeah, but my mom like grew up here, so she's pretty like, she doesn't really have that Dutch kind of attitude. Like she grew up there until she was like 12 or 14 or something like that.
Okay.
And then came here.
Right.
So she's like pretty Aussie, like in the mentality. But then my dad grew up in Fiji. He came here when he was in his 20s.
Okay.
So then he's got more like the Fiji Indian type of
Right.
style. So it's interesting, eh? Yeah,
Right.
it's cool though. It's
Right.
cool.
Right.
Yeah.
And childhood was in Meanjin?
Yes.
Which side of town?
North side, like near airport.
Okay.
Yeah, Virginia.
Right.
Yeah. So
Right.
I still living at home at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah. So it's cool.
Right,
It's good.
right.
Yeah.
Usually I wouldn't like go into people's age, but you do strike me as like someone who's like doing a lot of stuff for their age.
True.
Are you comfortable sharing?
Yeah.
how old you
I'm
are?
20. I'm 20.
20.
Yeah. So I
20.
turned. Yeah. So I turned 20 in January. Yeah. So it's cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's good.
And so you're at uni, balancing uni and work and DJ career. Like, how's all that stuff going for you?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's really good. It can get pretty busy sometimes though. Like, I'm pretty much out of the house every day of the week.
Right.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Doing something.
Right.
Which is good. I do enjoy it, but like, kind of gets to a certain point where it's like, I also want to do stuff for myself too, and like, just like focus on building myself as like a person, and like apart from like separate from like a career, just as like a person. But anyway, like the whole balance stuff is good. I've been trying to balance for like 3 years. It's like going well, but
Hey man, it's a lifelong thing.
it's a lifelong thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
It's not just gonna get busier from here. But yeah, like the uni stuff does take up a lot of my time. Just because studying music, it's like there's a lot to do outside of class. It's like you have studio sessions, rehearsals,
Yeah.
you know, like pre-production meetings, like all this kind of stuff. So it's just like that takes up a lot, probably most of the time. And then like the day job is just during the day, and like, you know, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then the night stuff is like the DJ stuff on the weekends. So
Right.
it's cool. It's good though.
Right. Right. And
Keeps me busy.
what field are you doing for day job work?
I work at Foot Locker.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, shoes. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Still kind of culture related.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
So it's pretty good. Like honestly, it's like I just enjoy it. Like all my mates, like and stuff, we all work there and we just muck around all day. It's pretty fun.
Are you and were you a Jordans enthusiast before being there?
Yes. Yeah. I didn't own Jordans though.
Okay.
I only had like one pair. And I knew all of them though, but I didn't really couldn't be bothered to go out and buy them.
Right.
But I was into them prior to but now I'm kind of
Is it dangerous now with the staff discount?
yeah, but honestly, man, I'm kind of dwelling away from Jordans now.
Okay.
Like I don't know.
Are you getting more refined in the
yeah,
taste?
I feel like it's just like it's becoming so oversaturated. Like
Yeah.
every kid is wearing some Jordan 1 mids, like, and
Right.
it's like it's kind of losing the value of it, eh?
Right.
But
right.
hey, I still like him, but I don't know. If only something really catches my eye, then I'll get it.
Okay.
I don't know. It just
Okay.
depends.
Do you sell a lot of TNs?
I don't sell TNs, unfortunately. Not yet. I will, because you can get the good market value on them.
Right.
But no, not at the moment. I do own a few pairs, but I don't sell them.
For those who aren't familiar, what are some of the associations with TNs? Because like from my perspective of Western Sydney, I know it from a certain thing, but
Yeah.
what's going on with TNs?
Hanging out at the train station. Nah. Yeah, just like little lad kids running around causing havoc. Pretty much is the stigma around it. But honestly, they're a good pair of shoes. I don't understand why. I wish they didn't, because if you see anyone working some TNs, they're always gonna be like, nah, well, like, come on, man, what are you doing?
Right.
It's like, nah, they're nice, comfortable shoes. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I feel like it depends on the rest of your outfit, what you're wearing.
Right.
Yeah.
So in thinking of shoes takes me back to childhood, and I grew up in the 90s, Western Sydney, and that sort of like that Air Max, like where you can actually see the bubbles on the side of the shoe, like that stuff was happening then, and I'm seeing a lot of it again now. Is it just like a direct throwback, or
kind of like, I think nowadays like Air Maxes are pretty cool, and they're kind of bringing back lots of retro styles too. Like they did a re-release of like the Air Max 1 a couple months ago.
Okay.
And like yeah, like with like 270s, like they got the massive bubbles on them. Like I don't know, I think it's weird. Like Air Maxes are still or always have been popular.
Right.
But it just comes with like different kind of avenues of style. Hey, like different people wear them different ways.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's cool though. It's cool. Yeah, I feel like with fashion nowadays, it's like what's old is new, right? Like everything is
a lot of nostalgia.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Right.
Like, yeah, it's cool though. It's really cool. And even like with like, you know, film cameras, like that kind of stuff. Like everything is just like a cycle. Hey,
Right.
Even music.
Do you play around with like film and analog?
Not really photography. Hey, I've been trying to get into visual stuff like graphic designing and that kind of stuff. I would love to own a film camera. I'm actually saving up to buy a camera, not a film camera, like a video camera. Because I'm trying to get more into like the filming side of stuff and like visual side of stuff.
Right.
But yeah, film stuff's cool. I haven't used it personally. Like I've done a shoot with a dude. He was filming. His name's Aiden. He's a sick film photographer. And I kind of prefer like when people ask for like press shots, like you know, head photos and stuff. I kind of like the film kind of thing because it's kind of different. It's not just like it's less like harsh on the eyes. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. It kind of just reflects like a personality a bit more. Yeah, I do love the film stuff though. It's really cool. I really like that it's coming back now. And yeah, it's cool. It's really cool. Yeah.
And how is that for you? Like connecting with like nostalgic things from the 90s or before. Is that something that you're connected to from siblings or your parents' generate or like older peers? Like what connects you to that?
Not really. Hey, I just like in high school I listened to lots of 90s music.
Okay.
Like,
right.
90s R&B was like the main thing I listened to.
Right.
Which is really random.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really like the music. I can't really say I connected too much of stuff apart from music from back then.
Right.
I mean, I was a massive Fresh Prince fan.
Yeah. Okay.
When I was in primary school, I wanted to like wear like what the Fresh Prince was wearing. I was like, "Oh, mom, can you please get me this kid?" She's like, "You can't find this anywhere. Like, what are you talking about? Like, this is from like 20 years ago." And then now everyone's rocking the same thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's pretty weird. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, I can't really say like I don't really have too much connection to the '90s apart from music. I mean, now there's fashion wise, like it's pretty similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, not really. I don't really have too much of a connection. Hey,
Right.
yeah, I don't know. Like I kind of growing up, I wasn't really into fashion at all, really, or anything like that.
Mm.
And still now, I'm kind of just getting into it slowly. I don't know. I'm not really haven't found my niche yet, but trying to get into it. It's
Right.
just so expensive there.
Yeah.
Clothes and stuff, but it's cool. It's cool. I do enjoy it.
Does being plugged into a place like Foot Locker sort of give you a certain eye for things?
Yeah,
You see
yeah,
people
for
coming in?
shoes. But I'm kind of like I've been kind of aiming to. There's a skate shop called Fast Times.
Okay.
They're like, I don't know, it's like my favorite store. They sell like all like Carhartt stuff and like Dickies and
All right.
all these real cool brands and stuff. I'm kind of leaning more towards like a skate kind of, I don't know, dressy up kind of style.
Right,
Personally, rather than like the sportswear.
If I think back to my kind of childhood and teenage phases, and I think I can distinctly remember a kind of, I think I grew up on like R&B, and then I think went into the hip hop direction, and then flipped to the skating side. And I remember just like, I don't know, like throwing away a Fuji CD or something dramatic like that. Like I just had to like detach from that personality because I was this now.
Yeah.
And skate wasn't rap, and like there was so much more like kind of rigid boundaries around things and identity and expression. But it really doesn't feel like that at the moment.
Nah, I feel like now it's kind of very unified somewhat. I feel like even like music genres, they're blurring so much.
Yeah.
Like you can't really call it, like I mean you can, but most people can't really call themselves, oh yeah, like I'm a pop singer or I'm an R&B singer, because people are kind of mashing it all together. And like if you look at the pop charts or whatever, it's like half of them are hip hop songs on there. It's not even pop, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of like also the music taste of the majority like of people, the music taste is kind of shifting to like, I feel like, I don't know, 10 years ago it was mainly like, you know, pop artists like I don't know who like, you know, maybe like Maroon 5 or like
right.
those kind of guys, like the real like poppy kind of sound was real popular. But now like I feel like the hip hop R&B sound is driving the scene. Even it's like Calm Down by Rema, like that song is still in the charts.
Yeah.
How old is that song? Like,
Right.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool how like diverse the mainstream music scene is coming, right? Like in Australia anyway. Like I don't know about the States, like I've never been, I don't really know much about their kind of what's going on there. But here, like it's pretty cool to see like so many types of music like being played everywhere. And people enjoying so many types of music too.
Right.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it's almost like as in the age of legacy media dominating the conversation, it's like there was one pop culture, and now with it so kind of niche and like split to so many different platforms, like there's like several different pop cultures that that different groups of people are kind of aligned to, right?
100%. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing though. Like I don't know. I think identity is good in like music or whatever, but then the other thing is just embrace everything, right? You don't have to like be like, oh no, I only listen to this, I only listen to that. It's like,
Yeah.
why not? If you like it, you like it.
Right.
Like there's no point putting like a barrier behind it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or in front of it. But yeah, it's cool. I don't know. It's good.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think going back to my musical progression and identity stages as a kid, I think it was R&B, hip hop, skate music, skate in sort of surfy mode, and then at some point went into like heavier stuff and metal.
Okay,
and I was
cool.
recently reminded by that because I worked on Knotfest run by
Oh,
Slipknot.
cool. Yeah. I
And-
saw that. Yeah.
And something that I found interesting about that, having gone to like 3 or 4 of these big, what is that venue? RNA Showgrounds. The Showground, some of these big touring festivals that do multiple capital cities. I had not seen in my brief time in the city, like the last year or so, streets lined with people at 11 a.m. like for the opening. There was
True.
streets lined of people all dressed in black like
Yeah,
I am now.
yeah.
That were that hungry and that keen for that music. So there is something to be said for, like, I guess, I don't want to say cult music, but like genres that have like a cult.
I get
following
what you
still.
mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get what you mean. Yeah, for sure.
It
Like,
felt like such a smart business decision from a band like Slipknot to have been around for 20 years and gone like, actually, no, we're going to be the promoter. We're going to run the festival. We're going to tour it around the world. And we know we've got a tight audience that's going to come out.
that is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. Hey, like, I guess people they're like super loyal to that type of. I feel like that, like metal music in general, like people are very loyal to metal music. Like people that are metalheads, they're metalheads.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they, it's cool. Like people are real into it, and yeah, that's interesting. I've never 11 a.m. like for the opener.
Exactly.
That's
yeah.
crazy.
People are like,
that is crazy.
I'm into metal. I'm going to be there the whole day.
Whole day.
This is sold out. I know this is valuable. I know other people that can't get in. I'm going to go there early and be there the whole day.
That's
And when
it.
I've been to some other big festivals that are a little bit more multi-genre and are not so defined in what they offer, you know, you get the cool kids like rocking up and like wanted to be in the VIP.
That's true, actually. Yeah, I went to Wildlands
Right,
this
yeah,
year,
same,
and
yeah.
like I got there pretty early for.
It was quiet, hey?
Yeah, I think I got there for like Remy Wolf or something.
Right,
like, during
right.
Remy Wolf set.
Yeah, no, I don't
And
think
it wasn't that busy. And then
Right.
by the time Dom Dollar was on at the end of the night, it was packed.
Right.
So yeah, I know that's interesting. Like seeing the two contrasting. Like,
Yeah.
festivals.
And
Hey,
I think it's about that sort of cult following and that sense of community.
yeah,
And
that's
like
true.
level of enthusiasm and investment. Because something that I've observed, perhaps at Wildlands, if not Laneway, probably more so like Wildlands than Laneway, was the phenomenon of TikTok music.
Yes,
There was that
of
who's that
course.
artist, the Take Me to the Moon tune? Like
Oh,
we
yeah,
probably,
yeah. Oh yeah.
you and I can probably not name that artist
Yeah.
right now, even though I'm into the UK scene. Like you're
Yeah,
probably,
yeah.
like, you know, I'm into that, and I remember hearing that being a popular track. But I'm also like into like grime
Yeah.
music and
Yeah,
that
of
style.
course.
But I can't name that artist, and right now off the top of my
I
head.
think it's Junior Choi.
There you go. You got it.
Yeah,
Well
yeah,
done.
yeah.
Well done. Using your brain.
Yeah.
Nice one. Nice one. DJ Archive brain. Nice work. Yeah, so Junior Choi
Yeah.
was on like some weird like third stage off to the side with
Yeah.
a really sparse crowd.
Yeah.
And like Junior Choi's on the backdrop, and I don't know if everyone's like connecting. It's like, oh, hang on, and then he like starts playing the tune. It's like this moment of like, hang on, is this a cover? Oh, it's like, oh no, you're the artist from
Yeah.
the song with like 200 million streams, and here you are on the other side of the world playing to like a sparse audience on the
Yeah.
third stage
It's
at
crazy.
a festival.
Yeah. I think that also comes with like how what's the word? Like how like saturated the music scene is, like in terms of music online.
Yeah, yeah,
And like with TikTok too, it's like fast trends.
right.
Like you'll be trending one week, next week no one knows who you are.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So I feel like that kind of plays into that too, hey? Because I feel like personally, I'm not a massive fan of that song. Like
Right.
it's okay,
yeah,
but it's nothing like crazy. And I feel like just because of how catchy it is, that's probably, well, that's why I feel it would have popped off as much as it did, right?
yeah, right.
But yeah, it's interesting. Hey,
Definitely. And we're in a weird space. I hear the sort of discourse around TikTok musicians, TikTok producers getting signed. And then suddenly they have to produce a piece of music that's not 30, 60, 90 seconds long.
yeah,
And it's this big reckoning for them.
true.
So it's
Yeah, that's interesting.
it's definitely a strange time and space. But I think all kinds of musicians either need to work on this thing of building a cult following somehow. And if you look at someone like
Yeah.
Slipknot, again,
For sure.
I was, into that at the time, like
Yeah.
99 when it came out, and
Yeah.
have not paid that much attention to it since. But reflecting on it now, it's like, wow, they were like masters of the spectacle.
Yeah.
And they were bringing together like rap, like yeah, white guys from the States. Okay, there's nothing like super radical, but wearing full suits, doing being under pseudonyms, like they were not known by their names for many years. Just really mastering that spectacle, which today would be like a kind of viral moment or something. Right?
Yeah,
Like you would
for
cut up a little
sure.
clip of someone with nails coming out of their head and banging a beer keg, but they were doing spectacle
That
like
for real.
20
like
something
yeah.
years ago.
That's yeah.
I think that's still something that people are trying to master. It's like how can we do this spectacle? How can we draw people in?
Yeah, because I think now it's like with the whole viral thing, it's like you can do that. You can draw people in, but then trends die. So within like a week, you won't really know who it is, which is like, I think the hard thing to stay relevant.
Yes. Yeah.
If someone like blows up as an artist or like as anything, like an influencer or something like that, I feel like the hardest part now is to stay relevant and to keep your fan base.
Yeah.
Just because there is so much in the media.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people can find something new tomorrow.
Right.
You know,
right.
like, you know what I mean? Hey, like,
mm.
and I think as an artist like me, that's the hardest thing that I'm kind of struggling to, like, well, not struggling to, but wanting to do is like keep pushing my content and stuff so that people remember type of thing. Because like anyone can just post up reels every day and then, oh, that's them. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like staying relevant, I think is quite important, and like it's hard to, I don't know, type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm still at the start of my career and everything like that, but I want to kind of push as much as I can. But just finding the right pathways and stuff too. Like, I want to focus on really what I want to do, type of thing, rather than like what I thought I wanted to do 3 years ago, 2 years ago. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Yeah. So it's interesting.
Yeah. And you were mentioning earlier that for the last 2-3 years you've been trying to find like that own sort of personal sense of balance as well, right?
Yeah.
What
sure.
does that look like?
I don't know. I actually don't know, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I get carried away a lot with doing stuff outside and like helping, like doing stuff, like outside projects with like other people.
Yeah.
But then just taking time to do like stuff for myself, like, you know, going to the beach or like going to nature or just like chilling out. Like, you know, like I really love nature and like going to the beach and stuff, but then finding the time for that is the issue. So I'd love to do that more.
Yeah.
But then also I'm just like, it's fine. Like that's how my life is right now. I'll just adjust to it. So it's just like a constant battle of just like, you know, figuring it out. But I'm not in a bad place or anything. Like I'm happy. So it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanjin's an interesting one for that. As a city on the east coast of Australia, we're not super connected to beaches. Like it's a bit of a mission, a bit of a car drive.
How is it like the only like city in Queensland without beaches? Like it's the capital city.
Gold Coast, Sunny Coast.
Like what? That's so stupid. Every beach here is really, really bad.
Yeah. It's I guess it's probably reflective of like the pre-industrial, the industrial river-based economy of before it was set up, and then for many years when it was in its prime. Yeah,
because I feel even like tourists when they come here, they come to Brisbane to go to the Gold Coast. Like no one ever stays in Brisbane. And it's cool. Like it's a nice city. Yeah, it's just like I feel like it's a little bit slow, but it's picking up for sure. It's very underrated, I think so.
Right.
Yeah, lots of DJs, especially from other cities, have been like, "All right, you guys are like kicking it."
When they come into it,
yeah. Like in terms of like talent and like skill and stuff. Yeah. People are like, "Oh wow, Brisbane is like really doing their thing." Like, it's pretty cool. Right. But yeah, I think we're still as a city still trying to kind of wake up and to like to certain scenes and pick up a bit more. Yeah. People kind of go to bed by 9 o'clock. Like, no, not really, but you know what I mean. Like,
well, I mean, anything that's on at the showgrounds tends to finish around 10:30. Yeah. Which I imagine is because of the hotels and apartments that are around it.
Super strict in the like lots of the venues have mad strict policies. Like, because of other outside people, it's kind of annoying, but can't do much about it. Right. I just feel like if you're gonna live in the Valley, out of all places, like the Valley is known to be the party district. You can literally live in any other suburb. Why are you gonna complain about sound if you're living in the Valley? Yeah, exactly. Like you can live literally anywhere else.
Yeah. the classic, like, not in my backyard. Yeah. But I moved here yesterday.
Yeah. It is what it is.
So you said that everyone leaves, and it's also an underrated city. Where does that sit for you? Like, as your career progresses, do you picture yourself having to leave to progress your career?
Not necessarily. I don't know. My goal is to move to Amsterdam.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't
tracing your
know.
roots.
Yeah, like I don't know. I just think it's really cool over there in Europe and stuff. Also how like close everything is in Europe. But like honestly, it's not like a set like goal for me right now. It's kind of just like if my career progresses that way, then hell yeah, I'd go there.
Right.
But at the moment, I'm kind of still figuring it out. I think with like my plan was to move like interstate or something.
Yeah.
But then I was talking. I forgot who I was talking to. I was talking to someone talking about moving and stuff like that. And they were like, instead of like trying to move elsewhere and get into their scene, just build your scene here,
Mm.
which is kind of cool. And like, that kind of really resonated. I'm like, okay.
Was that a touring artist or was that someone based
Honestly, I can't remember who it was. I
Mm.
really can't remember who it was.
Mm.
It'll probably come to me.
here? Okay.
Um, I really can't remember. Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
remember who it was. But yeah, we were, just chatting. And then I was like, yeah, like, I want to move, I don't know. I'd love to move. They're like, oh, yeah, you could do that. But also, you could just build up your scene here.
Mm.
And I was like, okay, yeah, that's very true. That would be really cool.
Mm.
So yeah, I don't know. Like me and my best mate Tane, we started a thing called Serotonin, which is like it's still in the groundwork. So we only released the first episode, but basically make it like a platform for like creatives and like DJs, artists, whatever, anything, saxophone players,
Yeah.
anything, just to like push themselves, like put themselves on like a platform, film a video, record it, put it out.
Right.
Just like put people on the map, like put Brisbane on the map especially. There's not really much like that. I don't know if there's many things like that here.
Right.
On an online, like I want to focus it mainly online for
Yeah.
now.
And is it going through YouTube as the long form?
Yeah, through YouTube, through
Yeah, cool.
SoundCloud.
Nice.
Who knows? Maybe we can one day get on Spotify if we can start getting stuff like that.
Mm.
But yeah, that's a big thing I want to push like this year. Just like getting as many people on as we can, like different like any type of music doesn't really matter.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, just gotta work for it, make the connections and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited.
That sounds like a good move because short form social platforms are so transient
Yeah,
that, like you say, it's like, you post every day and someone will be like, oh yeah, that thing. But
Yeah.
it's something that I believe in as well is like moving towards these more long form platforms.
yeah,
Is how you sort of play the long game.
yeah. Obviously, for promotion purposes, like we'll put out like TikToks and reels,
Yeah,
and
little
YouTube
cut
shorts.
clips
cut
from
clips.
the long thing.
Exactly,
Yeah.
like what you do with the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like kind of little things like that just to push it, but you can't listen to a DJ set on TikTok. Like you can listen to one song maybe,
Right.
but it's about expressing yourself. So like you can't express yourself through one 10-second clip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That much anyway.
Right.
But yeah, that's like the plan. Just start something different. Like that's all like that. I've never done something like this, so it's different for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I want to. Yeah, I'm excited. Should be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your approach to building your scene here now, like I want to talk, like there is a few sides, like DJ, producer, musician. There's a few sides to your sort of sonic creativity, let's say. But in terms of your DJ career and building a scene here, how have you been like the reason I asked you your age before is it's probably, I imagine you have some people say, man, I see you everywhere.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you're on, and I have that experience as well. It's like, oh, there's a gig. Oh, Sai's on the lineup.
Yeah.
Oh, Sai's on the lineup. It's like, how have you gotten to the stage where you can do that, and what drives you to keep doing that?
Like as in getting on like
Yeah.
lineups and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know really. Like, cause I didn't really come into the scene with connections like that. I kind of only knew one guy who put me onto Sunday Service, which was like, it's now now called This Service.
Okay.
And they're at Ling Ling's in the Valley. So
Uh-huh.
so I basically played my first set there. And some of the boys that ran that, they ran Friday nights at Boulevard. So then I started playing there as well. And kind of people have kind of just messaged me to do stuff, really. I haven't really reached out to too many places for gigs. Generally, that kind of come to me. I think just because, like, I don't know, new face in the scene. I don't know.
And people like your stuff.
Yeah, I guess so. yeah, it's cool. I'm really happy with how it's been the last 2 years, or year and a half or so, coming up to 2 years actually. But yeah, I think just through meeting people, I like to talk a lot as well. Like when I'm out, like I just talk to people and be like, oh hey, how's it going? Blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And
That
then you
comes
can
naturally to
yeah
you.
establish a connection, and then people are like, oh yeah, okay, let's get that guy. Like I don't know, yeah, I think so. I actually don't really know, to be honest. I have no idea. And I've got some great mates that have put me onto stuff as well.
Yeah.
Shout out to D Chili. He's put me onto a few like events and stuff that have come out from like interstate and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
So that's been real cool. Yeah, just having like a solid team, hey, around us, and like just yeah, just being good people, I guess. And I'd like to think that I'm a nice guy, so I feel like that's like a bigger reason as to why like,
Right.
I've made the connections, just
Yeah.
'cause talking and stuff rather than keeping to myself and acting
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I
So-
think so. I feel like a lot comes from just like yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So like a few early opportunities, having some social proof of being on a lineup,
Yeah,
and then just like saying hi and being warm and
For
just
sure.
making like genuine connections.
yeah, for sure. And I get really like stoked, hey, when I see like my name still like on like a post. I'm like, oh, all right, that's cool as yeah, like that's like oh, that's my name on a poster. That's
Right.
cool.
Right. And so you're sharing that with enthusiasm.
Yeah, like it's still exciting for me, hey. So, yeah, it's cool. It's really cool. I think yeah, just I'm still like really excited to just do what I do.
Yeah.
And looking back, like lots of the guys that are playing in Brisbane, like I used to watch their Instagram videos and be like, oh man, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Now I'm like hanging out with them, like getting lunch and stuff. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Even though it's like there's little stuff, but for me that was like, oh, that's awesome. Like, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Do you keep track of like stats and like how many gigs have you done now?
I actually don't know. My invoice count, I think so, is like 113 or 14
Of
something
only
like that.
DJ gigs?
Yes,
pretty much, yeah?
yeah, just DJ gigs, yeah.
And over what time period is that?
It is from July 2021.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's not a crazy amount.
Right. And there would be like a few like passion projects and house parties and stuff in between.
Not really house parties. I never really did house parties.
You just went straight to
yeah.
Same for me. Yeah, I just like kind of fell into DJing and suddenly I'm just a resident guy at a beach club in Sri Lanka. Like,
yeah, true. Oh no way.
Yeah,
That's sick. What type of music were you playing?
It was like I would do 4 or 5 hour sets.
Holy.
So I would kind of play the room.
Cool.
And in the sense, in like quite a fun way, like because I only fell into it. There was this app, DJ Pro on an iPad that would plug into Spotify, and suddenly without the barrier of like having to go and collect and download my music and stuff, I could just like pull these things in and then still like mix and stuff.
True.
And like actually started on a rooftop of a backpacker hostel, an Australian surf hostel that I was managing in south of Sri Lanka. So
No way.
on a beach, and just so we had this rooftop area, and people would just be hanging out of an evening. It was BYO at the time, and there would just be this need to play music. So I would just like play some music, and people would be into it. And then when there was not a very diverse music scene at the time happening there. It was kind
Were
of
you
like,
playing mainly like Sri Lankan music?
No,
or-
it was like very foreigner
Okay,
dominant
True,
kind of
true.
scenes.
Yep.
There was, certainly at times there was more local interaction, and I think it was very rare that I would actually I would play my live music set in Colombo, but the DJ stuff would generally be in coastal locations.
Cool.
But
Yeah, that's awesome.
and so it went from like rooftop chilling to this venue called Dots Bay House, and they had a couple of spots. They had like more of a cafe lounge cocktail sort of spot, and then more of a beach bar kind of spot. And so I'd go down there once a week for, I don't know, I want to say like 6 months to a year.
Sweet.
I did play a couple of New Year's sets, so it might have been over a couple of years, but I was in and out of Sri Lanka at the time. But did this thing of like, I would have a melodic musical menu
Okay.
and put it out to the tables. And I think I might have put IG or WhatsApp number or something on there. I had a way for people to kind of crowdsource in a way that I would kind of curate. So I put
Yes.
like little
Okay.
prompts, like let me tell me about a song from your country, or
Right.
like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
tell me about like something that's hype, something that's chill,
Yeah.
and I would get sort of certain because like I'm sure you're aware of the nightmare that requests can be for a DJ. But here I was like doing these long chill sets from like evening drinks to through dinner through to like more party mode, and I would just be the one
That's
guy around.
crazy.
And so
Yeah.
because I had that software that could play Spotify, I would end up just like previewing a song in the headphones, and then I'd be basically DJing a song I'd never heard before because they just texted me saying like, "Oh, you should try this tune from Holland
No
or something,"
way.
and it'd
That
be
is
something in
so
Dutch, and I'd just
cool.
be like, pull it up, check out the BPM. I'm like, oh, cool, I'm gonna weave that in. So I had this
That
weirdest,
is sick.
I had the
That is
weirdest
so
introduction,
cool.
and I had so many. I think my first taste of like things like Anderson Park and like lots of things were
True.
from
That
people going
is
like, "Hey, play this cool new tune." I was like, "Oh, whoa!" Like, so it's like this
that is sick.
really strange way to
You would have
come into
yeah,
it.
you would have like heard so much music through
Yeah,
that too.
yeah,
Cause
yeah.
like I feel like doing that in like a venue now, you
Mm.
get like a million different types of like music. So like that's so cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could be, and I know that particular like Spotify pulled out of that deal. I think you can only do it through Tidal and certain
Yeah, I
software
think
now.
Spotify's out of most of the DJ kind
Mm,
of stuff.
yeah, but yeah, it could be a fun thing to do today.
That's very cool.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so then that would lead to some more gigs, and I think it was 3 New Years in a row that we played the same spot. I would do my live set, DJ set, and then the soul, like the greatest band in Sri Lanka, would play the New Year's
True.
set, and I would just try to keep up with them with keep up with the energy in between, and we had this really nice kind of thick thing. But like I never took because I was a live musician. I was like, yeah, this is music,
Yeah, yeah,
DJs,
yeah.
whatever. That's
What was your
just
live set?
something. It was live vocal looping.
Cool.
I had this
Okay.
whole alter ego and this thing that I toured around for 7-8 years.
No way.
Called Larry T. Hill. It was this, like kind of hip hop comedy thing.
True.
And I
Okay.
would use have you seen Satika use the 505
Yeah,
looper?
yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah,
used
yeah,
that
yeah.
same one
Okay,
and
sick.
just voice. Yeah.
How was code for you?
COVID.
Yeah.
I was based in Northern Rivers at the time, and so it
Okay.
was a bit, they were fairly rebellious
Yeah,
around
of
there,
course. Yeah.
and like we also didn't have a huge lot of restrictions, and so
Mhm.
I think generally, like, being a cyclist, I could call riding my bike to the beach and going for a swim exercise. So it was like it was pretty, like I don't think I was doing that at the heights of it when things were pretty strict, but like
Yeah.
generally you could,
It was pretty relaxed.
yeah, it was pretty relaxed around there. Like definitely some characters,
Yeah,
very
of course.
strong vaccine hesitant or
Yes,
anti-vax
yes, yes.
sentiment
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in the area. But generally speaking, apart from like losing 6 months of event work
Yeah.
overnight,
Crazy. Affected the creative industry so bad.
yeah,
So
yeah,
bad. Yeah.
yeah. How was it for you? Were you
I was in
active?
high school, yeah. Yeah. So
That's so
I was in grade 12. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So
So,
it
you're
was-
like, sweet, no school.
Yeah, honestly, I was yeah, literally. We had like online school for like, I don't know, 8 weeks or something.
Yeah.
And I was like literally just doing nothing for 8 weeks.
Right.
It was, yeah, honestly, it wasn't good, but like could have been a lot worse. Like I didn't like really, yeah, I was kind of just chilling for most of the time.
Yeah.
We didn't, I don't think it was that long of lockdown either. I think we were back and forth in school and that kind of thing. So it wasn't too bad for me.
Mm.
Yeah, it was just like stay home, work on music, do schoolwork. Like that's it really. So I think 2021 was a bit tough because that was when it was like all like weird.
Mm.
When it was like half COVID, half not, and
Yeah.
then masks and no masks, sitting
Mm.
down in the club, blah 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 blah.
Right, right.
That was weird because that's when I started, and like
Oh,
my first
right.
like 4 gigs were like, oh, more than that. My first like probably
Were they like no dancing gigs?
yeah,
Whoa.
yeah. So
First DJ gigs are
literally my
dancing
first
is not allowed.
yeah, literally like probably my first like I wonder
Oh my god.
yeah, it's crazy. Like first 3 or 4 months, I'm just playing to people just sitting down.
First 3 or 4 months.
I think so, yeah, something like
Oh
that.
my-
I can't really remember, but it was
Oh
something
my
like
God,
that.
the very thing that you're trying to do as a DJ is prohibited. And your
Yeah.
first 3 or 4 months of gigs is
Yeah.
oh, that is wild.
It's pretty funny, yeah.
And then like the first gig you could do with dancing, what did that feel like?
It was good. It was good. I'm trying to remember. I think it was like my first late night set.
As well.
Yeah,
Right.
it was like 11 to 12 or something at like Sunday service.
Because it'd been like all like openers up until then.
Yeah. And then I DJ from my laptop with Serato.
Yeah.
And the decks we had were really old, and I had to use this little interface, little SL box to connect my laptop to these CDJs and mixer and stuff.
Okay.
Anyway, that night it didn't work, so I had to play USB for the first time
Into CDJs.
into CDJs
With no experience.
with no experience with USB in like my first like dancing crowd like late night, and there was CDJ like 800s with like no waveform. So I was like stressing like so bad.
Had you even used an XDJ or anything? So you
Nah.
went straight from laptop to no look CDJs.
Yeah, it was pretty tough.
What the
but
baptism of fire.
I know, but it was good. Like, hey, like looking back, I'm like, man, I'm actually happy I played USB on those old things, because now if I ever have to use it, I can, like type of thing. Yeah, it was stressful. I was like, what the hell do I do now? Like, cause I don't know. I always had issues with my laptop.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Right.
And it was I bet you I just put one cable in the wrong thing when I was just already too stressed out. Yeah, it was pretty pretty hectic. But yeah, it was okay.
Right.
Yeah,
And people got up and danced?
Yeah, people were still dancing. People were already dancing. So
Right.
I'm lucky I had music on my backup USB.
Yeah.
Um,
So you're very much mixing with your ears then?
yeah. Like now or
No,
back then?
no. When you can't see the waveform on
Oh
a
yeah.
CDJ.
Oh yeah. You're just literally like if you got headphones
100% with ears.
and you're just like kind of nudging it to the right. Yeah. Because
Right.
you literally can't. There's like no waveform. It's like just lines, and like they just go up and down, but you can't actually see like it's like the full song view, not like
Okay.
if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. You can't zoom in and see
Nah,
and to get your beats or anything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's cool.
And so now are you then CDJ savvy? Like you can play on whatever's in front of you?
Yeah, pretty much. I've learned to spin on like whatever.
And you had to learn that in situ, like in front of people.
Yeah.
Right.
It was so scary because I was like, I've never used these before. Like, wow, I can't see the waveform
Yeah.
and stuff. But it was okay. It worked out. I can't really remember. Like, if I'm sure there would have been like stuff ups and whatnot. But like, yeah, it is what it is.
Right.
I'm still alive. So,
Do you record many of your sets?
I didn't before because my laptop was really shit. Like, it was. Oh, sorry, I don't know if that's this way. My bad.
Say whatever you want. Yeah.
It wasn't really bad, but like it the CPU was bad. I bought it in like grade 12. It was like a i5 core. Like nothing was.
Mhm.
It was like it started crashing
Right.
like during my sets, which was
Oh,
really bad.
Yeah.
So I didn't. But now I have a new laptop and I've recorded a few and just kind of kept them there. But sometimes I forget about it really, just because like caught up in the moment. You're just
Right.
like you forget to press record.
Yeah.
I would love to record them more like club sets.
Yeah.
It'd be really cool. But I've recorded a few like mixes.
Yeah.
And like with the serotonin mixes and stuff. Like
Yeah.
we recorded one, we're doing one next week. So yeah, I think I'm lacking on the mixes though, like on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
And whatnot. But yeah, I'd love to record more just like club stuff.
Right.
I'd love to actually film it. I'm trying to get a GoPro so I can just like put it there
Yeah.
and then
Nice.
just like film and
Yeah.
record, and then you can just post up on YouTube or whatever. But yeah, it's cool. I'd love to do more. My laptop was like, my old one was so bad. Like when I did the Gyro open air event,
yeah.
my laptop literally crashed during my set.
Okay.
Like
Yeah,
fully just
right.
like died, and I was like, what the hell do I do now?
Right.
But yeah, that was pretty interesting.
But if you like crashed into learning like club decks and CDJs and the USB workflow.
oh yeah, I can use USB.
So what's your preference now, laptop or?
I kind of prefer laptop just because I use lots of like this, like now Serato has like stems, like stem features, and you can kind of make like acapellas on the fly and that kind of thing, which I have been using a lot. I can still mix on USB, And I did for a bit of time. When I didn't really like for example, if I go to a club and the decks are old, you can't connect your laptop, then you have to use USB.
Right.
And I really enjoy playing USB too. Like it's good fun.
Yeah.
I feel safe with my laptop because I have everything there,
Yeah.
and I've kind of just like been using that the most.
Right. Right.
But I don't mind.
But sometimes it makes the changeovers a bit awkward. Sometimes
It can,
some
yeah.
of the pro DJs go,
Yeah, it's like, oh, what are you using a laptop for?
Yeah.
Yeah. It can be, and I feel like, especially in like boiler room settings, you never see any laptop DJs, which is weird. Like it's kind of interesting.
So a friend of mine put it to me that, you know, women as one group of underrepresented DJs, like, and I guess this applies to like other groups of underrepresented DJs as well. Without having that access to CDJs and to the record box workflow to load up your USB, learn all the things, that becomes an added barrier that doesn't let us kind of get onto that club level.
Yeah, for
system,
sure.
which is something that informed me getting an XDJ.
Yep. They're great.
And RR recently.
Yep.
You just mentioned open air.
Yes.
And I wanted to ask about, you've been playing lots of gigs. Your dream is to go to Amsterdam. Have you done some supports for some sort of dream artists? Like, what's it been like for you?
Jael was pretty cool for me because like he's like a massive inspiration. Like for me, he's just like nuts on like all levels.
Yeah.
And I kind of also
And so
relate
he's
to
Amsterdam
him.
based.
He is Amsterdam based.
And his cultural background.
He is Micronesian or Melanesian. I can't remember
Comes
which
from a
one.
small
Small island. I
island,
forgot the name of it. It's off some Maluku, I think so it's called.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. So pretty much all of like my favorite producers DJs are coming out of Amsterdam. It's pretty nuts. Or like Netherlands.
Right.
But yeah, Jael was a massive thing for me because I kind of relate to him on a certain level as well because he's like a musician, like he plays instruments, sings, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
As well as a DJ, and I'm like, oh
That's
man,
right. He got on the mic quite a bit that
yeah,
night.
and I'm like, oh man, that's cool. I can do that too because like I've always like been really confused. Which pathway should I go down? Should I go down the music, singing, blah 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 pathway, or should I focus on the DJ stuff? It's like, well, just do both. Just do both as long as you do both well, right?
Yeah.
So that was cool opening for him. I recently did a studio session with Dave Nunes, which was really cool. He's another DJ, our producer from Netherlands. I don't know if he's from Amsterdam, but he's from Netherlands.
Okay.
He did the open air, that was recent.
Right.
I haven't really done too much more openings for many other international artists so far. No, I haven't.
Right.
I don't think so. I haven't done any other open airs, I don't believe. But that's okay.
And
one day.
What are some of the things that you learn from these guys when they swing through? And particularly when you're a support act, I imagine you have some interactions with them. Like for me,
for sure.
Looking at the Jael set, there's a lot of multi-genre, genre hopping DJs or whatever, but I've not seen anyone do it like that.
Oh my God. He is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like that was like honestly one of the best sets I've seen, like that I've seen in real life. I was like, what the actual hell is going on? Like, that honestly was such an inspiring day for me because I'm like, wow, this guy is literally from Europe and he's in Australia having a whole room of people dancing to his music. Like, that is sick.
Yeah.
Even though it's on the biggest crowd in the world, but people are there for that.
Yeah.
Like, people are there.
Yeah, there was like a venue change or something, right?
There was, yeah. And like, honestly, that was super inspiring to me, hey, like seeing that. And just seeing how people reacted just to the music stuff, you know what I mean? Like, there didn't even need to be lyrics. Like, you didn't have to sing it. It's just the music that's playing out of their speakers.
What's with these DJs that are just trying to break my Shazam? It's just, you can't find those tracks.
No, it's all SoundCloud, Bandcamp.
But not even, like, I feel like he gets some, because there was that 1,000 Kisses tune. He played and it samples like it samples something like a George Benson record.
True.
And I think it could be a Maori artist.
Okay.
And I managed to track it down, but I could only find like the vocal version. Okay. And I feel like beyond SoundCloud, beyond these sort of DJ record pools and things like that, there's probably like like, you know, Jyoti and Jael are like kind of on a
Yeah.
little chat together going,
I was gonna
what
say,
tunes you got, man? Here's
they're
this one.
100%.
And
The producers definitely sending each other stuff all the time. Like unreleased stuff for
yeah,
sure.
right.
100%. Even just us boys in Brisbane, like
Okay.
we'll someone will whip up like a mix, like like an edit or something.
Yeah.
And then they'll just send it through the Google Drive and like the DM, be like, oh yeah,
Okay.
give this a run.
Yeah, yeah.
Like so,
Exclusive.
I feel like it's pretty, and like with that whole selection scene, like
Mm.
like Jyoti Jail, like Dave Nitters, all those guys, they're all connected, right? So like they'll all be sharing music with each other, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because like think about how much music will be coming out of like Europe, right? Like so there definitely be producers that just don't release their stuff. So yeah, it's pretty cool, like that whole digging for like music and that kind of thing, that kind of scene
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's cool.
So I think I asked a question and then talked all over it, but
Ah, no, you're good,
I
bro.
was asking like, yeah, what do you get out of seeing these kind of idols come through?
Oh,
Like,
cool.
what's
Yeah,
it like
yeah.
watching?
What's like watching? Um, Inspiration, honestly, like just like seeing someone do that and do it halfway across the fully
Yeah.
across the world.
Yeah.
And people like just vibing so hard to it is really cool.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, I would love to do that one day too.
Yeah.
So, for me, mainly it's like inspiration, just kind of like watching what they're doing as well. Like,
Right.
like listening, like slowly, like, oh, what's that song? It's just
Yeah,
anything,
yeah.
like just like, especially because like that's kind of scene is the scene that I really do want to get into. So just listening a lot to that kind of stuff is like mainly like, yeah, it's mainly inspiration for me. I actually did also do another solo action artist. His name is J Rob. He did an Australian tour. I opened up for him as well. That was really cool because we just got like lunch and stuff, a few of us guys, and just chatting about like music and stuff, which was really cool.
Yeah.
And like this dude from the States, like I don't really ever meet people from America, right? In Australia,
Right.
this guy, like, yeah, it's like talking full American accent. I was like, oh, that's cool. Like it's pretty interesting.
Right.
But yeah, and like even like yeah, like after we had lunch, I like dropped them back to the hotel and stuff, and we're just chatting in the car. I was
Yeah,
like,
cool.
damn, I really got like a guy from all the way from like America that's like produced for so many people. It's like sitting in my car right now. It's pretty cool.
Right. Yeah, and it's about those little moments, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like little things like. Yeah, it was just like because they were gonna get an Uber, and I'm like, no, I'll just drop the guys off.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
make it personal.
There's little stuff like that, and it's like it's just cool, like build that connection type of thing. And just like just talking. I just want to absorb as much as I can from these people. Yeah, because there was two guys from Perth as well. Ash, his name is. He runs Honeycut, like a touring, and like events business. And then Mowgli, he's a DJ. I don't know if you know Mowgli.
No,
He's a Punjabi guy.
okay. Oh, right. Yeah.
He's playing Splendor this year as well.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, so he's from Perth, and I was the first time I met him and Ash
Yeah.
and J Rob. I never met them before.
Okay.
So I just wanted to like just chat and be like, yeah, these guys from Perth. So I'm like, I don't know anyone in Perth.
Right. Yeah. Now
So
you
like,
do. Yeah.
So I was just chatting and absorb because they've been doing it for a long time as well. I just want to learn as much as I can, really. Yeah, that's just absorb as much as I can from all these guys that I meet that have been doing the industry for a while. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
cool. It's really cool.
And is being an opening act like a rite of passage? Like, how does it feel like playing to unknown quantities or no one?
Yeah. Honestly, I don't really mind. Like, some people were like, "Oh no, don't put me on the opening set. Like, I don't want to do that."
Yeah.
I was like, hey, if I'm on the lineup, I don't really mind. Obviously, I would like to play to people.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
it definitely is a rite of passage. No one is like heading their first DJ set and like the headlining spot. So, yeah, I think definitely it is kind of like a progression. Because when I first started, I was only doing opening sets for every event that I did. I'd only do the opening set.
Yeah.
Then slowly start getting second set, third set. So it's all a what's the word, process.
Right. Right.
And like I'm happy. I don't really like feel the need. Like I've done a few closing sets, which is cool.
Yeah.
That's like end
So
of
it's
the night.
playing after the
That's cool because at the end of the night, everyone's like wasted. Everyone's just like having a good time. So you can play really whatever.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy just playing sing along. Like
Yeah.
I'm not I really like just like vibey stuff. Like that's kind of my jam. So playing closing sets is fun because you can just play like sing along stuff. People just sing and like get in their feels, that kind of thing. So I really enjoy that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I think opening is just like it's kind of just you do that naturally. And yeah, it's cool. I enjoy it. Yeah, and like sometimes if I'm playing to no one, that's cool because you can just play whatever you want. Usually, like I have my boys that come and through, and like if I'm opening, they'll come through for my opening set. So we just like
Yeah.
jam together.
Yeah.
So it's fun. Yeah.
Get your crew to support.
Yeah, exactly. I have a
Nice.
really good mates that come support me. So
Was that the crew that I saw you with at Jyoti?
yes, that is
Yeah.
one of the crew. I've got a few different mates that come around.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much a few of them in one spot together. So
Mm.
there's like the boys that were there that night. They were actually my high school mates, all the guys I was with. But then there was a separate group that we met up with.
Right.
They're kind of all like in the DJ kind of scene, like nightlife kind of scene.
Right.
So yeah, that was how good was Jyoti though.
Yeah.
That was probably like my second favorite. I like Jael and Jyoti seeing both of them live was just like crazy.
Mm.
That was nuts. Her set was so good. Just like she played everything
Yeah.
and like so good too. And like she played like that like it was a solo by Frank Ocean.
Yeah.
Like
with
that
the drum and
remix
bass. I've been trying to find that.
It's like a Baile funk remix. I was like, what the hell is going on? Like I was like, what? And it was so cool seeing people show up for that and like just sing their hearts out.
Yeah.
It was really cool. It was like really wholesome night. I feel like everyone was just there to just enjoy the music. Hey,
I think what was she? She was expecting like, I don't know, like a venue like a quarter that size or something.
Oh,
I think She was
true.
posting, and then it was just like whoa.
massive, yeah, yeah. Because when I saw it was at Felons, I was like, oh, that's a really random venue.
Yeah. It was one of
because-
the only free Jyoti sets around the country. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a really random place to have Jyoti. Like,
Mm.
considering like Felons is usually like pretty preppy,
Right.
like
yeah. Right.
years after work type
Yeah.
of vibe.
Yeah.
And then I got there pretty late, just before she started,
Okay.
and
Right.
the crowd was like filled with like all different types of people.
Right.
And even like probably the regulars that go there were still jamming along. Like I think Felons probably was a really good place to have it because, well, free festival.
Yeah.
Second of all, massive spot. Third of all, like it's like already people gonna be there.
Yeah.
And I feel like with her music, you can just get along to it no matter what. And it's just also it's like just a different place to go to, right? Like
Yeah.
when do they have DJ sets at Felons? I don't think it's very often. I've played there with my band.
Right.
But I've never seen a DJ set at Felons. But yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool. And I loved that she played a few like Indian songs too. Like that was really
yeah. Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like in the crowd, I was like singing. There's this one like Punjabi song. It's like
Right.
UK Punjabi.
Uh-huh.
Called Nachle Sonia.
Yes.
Do you know that song? The
I-
UK it's like UK garage.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah,
it's
yeah.
new.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
sounds
yeah.
old, but it's new.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like singing. I was like, I've never heard this live before. I was so happy.
Nice. Nice.
But it was really cool. It was really cool.
You mentioned playing the late set and
Yes.
playing to like a wasted crowd, and they're sort of easy to please kind of thing. As a working DJ, your profession takes you out to these alcohol spaces, these
Yes.
wasted spaces, out into the valley. You're seeing casualties all around you. I don't want to play the like old man when I was your age kind of thing too hard, but just hear me out for a sec.
No, you're
Because,
good.
Like, I think when I was your age, I was like probably at the peak of my like, oh yeah, alcohol. But then that petered off really quickly for me. And my folks tell me that like, come my 21st, I was just like kicking back with a tea.
True.
And my cousins were making fun of me because like, oh, why aren't you drinking? It's your
Yeah,
21st. No, I was like, I'm just chilling. And then,
Yeah.
you know, since then that, you know, shortly after, probably my early to mid 20s, like it petered right off and then went down to zero. And so for now, many years, I've not drunk at all. And
Sure.
when I was a touring artist, I would reflect on, actually, I wasn't that conscious of it at the time, but like now I've kind of finished up doing all that. I kind of have reflected back going like, oh, I've lost family members who were musicians to alcohol.
True.
My mum's
Yes.
brother, my mum's, yeah, he was a musician, and then other cousins,
Yeah.
another family member who was not a musician to alcohol, and I don't know how much of that like seeped in subconsciously and informed that kind of thing.
Yep.
But the
Yeah.
other angle on it was that I was just perhaps like yourself, just this super keen music person, this musician. I would just go out to as many gigs as I can, and
Yeah,
I quickly
for
learned
sure.
that like, wow, what are these insane bar prices? I'm just going to drink water,
Yeah.
so I can do more on the door entries
Yeah,
and like
for
buy
sure.
more CDs.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
thing, show
Yeah.
my-
100%. Yeah.
And yeah, so I'm just like, and so when I was a touring artist, I realized that like I had saved myself this occupational hazard of alcohol being in all of our workplaces all of the time, and it just wasn't an option for me, and I didn't have to, you know, manage any of the things of being hungover or that have any effect on my performance or anything like that. Like,
Yeah.
what's it like? You're in the you're just at 20, like
Yeah.
you're like right at this like drinking sort of age, but like
Yeah.
what is it like for you, particularly with your career?
It's okay. Like, I don't really drink every time. I mean, like, obviously, I do enjoy a drink, and
Yeah.
like, I will, depending on the day, kind of depends on like what's the plans. If I'm with like lots of people, then
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I'll get on it a bit.
Mm.
But it's not crazy for me. Like, I think generally, like, I don't really drink too much if I'm playing like on like a Friday.
Yeah.
Or sometimes if I'm on a Saturday, but generally Sundays is probably when we do.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
because like.
You're conscious of
It's
keeping it
it's all
together.
about friends. It's like it's mainly when we're with our friends. Hey, like
Yeah.
lots of our friends come out on Sundays. We get on it, but like it's also not weekly either. It's kind of just like
Yeah.
when we feel like it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then like for you being in those environments, like
Yeah,
what's
I don't
what is
know. It's okay for me. Like, it don't really affect me too much, really.
Mm.
When I do go sober, I mean, like, obviously I have had my experiences when like drinking too much.
Yeah.
And when I'm out and
Yeah.
stuff, and it's not good.
Yeah.
So I
yeah.
have learnt from that.
Mm.
Definitely learned from that, and it's I don't know. It's kind of just like I'm just trying not to be stupid with it, basically. And I feel like I'm getting there.
Yeah.
I'm not really. I'm not really the type to like do really stupid stuff when I am like intoxicated or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, the environment for me, like, it doesn't really affect me. Hey, like, always like. There was a night I went out recently, and I was sober. I was driving and stuff. And people were like, "Oh no, just drink. Come on, please, just have one. Come to my booth. Come on, have one."
Right.
And I'm like, "Nah, like I'm driving, man. Like I'm trying to do a sober streak, blah blah blah. Like nah, all good."
Yeah.
And then like, okay, yeah, whatever. And then they come back 10 minutes later. Come on, have one. I'm like,
Yeah.
nah, like yeah, you don't understand. Like some people can be a bit pushy.
Yeah.
But it just depends. Like I feel like people do also understand when you're like, nah, I'm not tonight. Like, okay, yeah, fair enough. That's cool. Because it is like, people go out to drink. Like, it's weird if you're sober and you're in a club.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, if you are, either they're like, oh, what the hell? Or they're like, oh, yeah, good for you. Like, there's like kind of two things around it. Hey?
Right.
Yeah, because like, most of last month, when I would go, I didn't really drink at all. I was trying to do like a sober thing for a bit of time.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was cool. I like, yeah. So, half the time, honestly, it's like I can't be bothered to like, because if like after I'll just drive,
Right.
or like if I like
Because
spend
like
money
you
on
got
an
a job to
Uber.
do, like literally, right?
Yeah. Luckily, I've never been like too drunk to play.
Yeah.
Like that's never happened to me.
Mm.
But yeah, like I don't know. It's like money as well. Saving money.
Yeah. Exactly. And like
Ubers mainly, because I'm on my P's too.
Right. Oh
So-
yeah. So it's zero. Yeah.
So like, I'm not gonna risk it. I don't want to lose my license.
I think that's what it was like for me when I was like playing gigs with my drum kit and being the drummer would always have to drive to the gigs.
Yeah.
And so the same thing of like P's and zeros, and like I just never got into the venue alcohol thing.
Yeah. Like I mean, like I love a beer. Like
Yeah.
like, or like honestly, I'd prefer to drink like go out for dinner or go to the pub with like the mates.
Yeah.
Rather than go to the club and drink. Because I don't enjoy clubbing, like, if I'm not DJing.
Yeah.
Like, I went out on Saturday night recently. We went to a 21st, and then after we went out.
Yeah.
And it was cool, like, seeing my mates and stuff.
Yeah.
Then I just got bored. I was like, what am I doing? Like, I don't really like dancing too much. So I was like,
Oh really?
yeah, not
right.
really. Like, I don't know. It depends to what type of music.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
being particular about the music.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, sometimes, or if I'm like, I wasn't really that drunk either, so I wasn't really like in the mood to like,
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I was gonna go home. So I just went home.
Right.
Like I'm not a massive fan of going out, hey, like that.
Yeah.
And this is to like an event to like support like the mates and stuff. For example, like open air or like Sunday's Lemonade, one of those events I'll definitely just go to like that.
Yeah.
But clubbing, I'm not a huge fan. Yeah.
Right.
I do like raves though. I've never been to a proper rave.
Okay.
But I've been to a few events where they've had like, like hip hop. Oh, not hip hop. Sorry, like techno.
Yeah.
Or like drum and bass or something in like the side room. I'd be in the side room rather than the main room, just because I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like,
I'll have to hit you up for the next drum and bass.
dude,
gig.
please. I've been trying to go to a rave for the longest time.
All right.
And
well,
like,
Earth Frequency's coming up.
yeah,
Maybe
Earth
out
Frequency.
at Ipswich.
Yeah. I was supposed to play that. I think so. There's
Okay.
a Tibetan artist called Tenzin.
Yeah, Tenzin Chobe.
Yeah, with him.
All right.
Yeah.
Playing at Earth Frequency.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whoa.
I think he's away at the moment, so I don't
Yeah.
think we're doing it anymore. But we were talking about it, so that would have been cool.
Nice.
But yeah,
I understand that music entered your life at an early age.
Yeah.
Was it from a musical family?
yeah, pretty much. So my uncle, he was a drummer.
Right.
Like he was like in a metal band as well.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom's brother.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, in a metal band, like he played drums, and he also played tabla as well.
Uh-huh.
So like when I was younger, like he was like my role model and stuff when you're like a little kid.
Right.
I mean, still now.
Right.
Like,
The
still look up
percussion
to
and
him. heaps.
rhythm has
Yeah,
really
yeah,
been in
fully.
there.
Yeah, so I was always like, because we like play at the temple and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'd always like be sitting next to him, like watching. Oh, this is cool. Like there's like photos of me like on my phone, like when I was like 2 years old, like hitting like tabla and stuff. So I've always like been in that. And then my dad also was a singer,
Okay.
back in Fiji,
Right.
in like the nightclubs and stuff. He'd sing in a band, do like all like the Bollywood stuff and that
Yeah.
kind of thing. So I've always kind of grown up in that kind of environment.
Right.
Um,
So there wasn't much of that sort of sometimes typical South Asian thing of like, oh, art is this thing over there.
yeah, nah.
Focus on your studies. Kind of.
Yeah, I was actually gonna ask you, how's your family reacted to like you doing like all the music and creative stuff?
So I think in a similar way, like my mum is a career musician,
Sick.
singer and music teacher.
Oh, cool.
Unfortunately,
cool.
I didn't pick up on the melodic training when I was younger,
Yeah,
but
okay.
I did get into playing drums
Cool,
and a
cool,
bit
cool.
of dance and that kind of
Nice,
thing. So
nice.
I think they've always been supportive, but still encouraged me to go to
Yeah.
uni. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I last minute managed to like scrape together the results to get into the industrial design, sustainable design
Cool.
degree that I wanted.
Sweet.
But then I left in my final year to get into sustainable event production.
Cool.
And then
Sick.
never went back.
Yeah.
And I think like, they probably, I think, there's probably some heart stopping moments in there. I think, I think at a few points they sort of gently encouraged me to go to uni or
Yeah.
firmly encouraged me to go to the academically selective
Yeah.
state school.
Yeah.
But
Did you grow up in here?
Western Sydney.
Oh,
yeah.
Sydney.
I
Yeah, you
came
said
when
that.
I was migrated, born in Dubai, and
Okay.
migrated when I was 18 months
Okay.
to
True.
yeah,
Sydney.
and Sydney and Western Sydney.
Nice.
And then moved to inner West Sydney and was based out of there. But left Sydney 2009. So I've kind of been on the move
around
since then.
Yeah, sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah, that's cool. Yeah, because it is a stigma for like brown people to be like, oh, music. When it's pretty funny whenever like I see like family friends or something, and they're like, oh, so what are you studying? Oh, I'm studying music. Oh, that's great. It's always good to be yourself and do what you want to do.
Yeah,
I'm
live
like,
your
yeah,
dreams.
Yeah. Also, what's your backup plan? I'm like, man, come on, like,
Yeah.
In all seriousness though, my backup plan is just to do teaching.
Yeah, teach
music,
music. Right.
music, which
Yeah.
I mean, I still want to do. Hopefully next year I can do that. It's not really a backup plan, but it's like I'll do that on the side as well. But yeah, so what was your original question again? I completely forgot it.
Yeah, it was just like kind of like asking about like the
Musical household growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty much, always been musical in the house. And then when I was 8, I was just like home one night, and then this like man walks into my house, and then my dad's like, "Oh, come meet your tabla teacher." And I'm like, "Oh, sick, okay." And I'm like, "Okay, hey."
I'm gonna have to learn these things I've been tapping.
Yeah.
tapping since I was 2.
Yeah, and I was like, I hated it at the start.
Mm.
I was like, nah, this is crap. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to do this. When you're in
Yeah.
primary school, like, you want to sit down for like an hour each week
Yeah.
to like play instruments. I'm like, nah, this is crap. Like, I don't want to do this.
Mm.
And then I was also playing trumpet as well in primary
Okay.
school. Yeah.
Right.
And then I was like, nah, this is crap. I don't want to do this. Blah blah blah.
Right.
Then one day I kind of just like flicked, and I was like, oh, this is actually really cool. I like it. Yeah, and then picked up like harmonium
Right.
Yeah, just like kind of like that. We had one at home, so I kind of just started playing it.
Right.
And then my uncle had a electric drum kit. So I would he didn't like really keep it at my place, but every now and then it'd be at my place, and I'd just have a bit of a well on that. And then in primary school, there was like a drum kit in the music room.
Hmm.
So I'd go in at lunchtime sometime and just like play. I didn't really know what I was playing, but I would just play. And then it got to high school.
Kind of like bringing the tabla knowledge across.
Yeah,
to the
pretty
drum
much.
kit.
Hey, because
Alright.
I didn't really have lessons in drum kit.
Yeah.
And then when I was in high school, I wanted to change to learn drum kit. Because I could already play kit, but I didn't really like know much knowledge about it. And then they were like, "No, you can't do that. So you have to have like pre-knowledge of it." Blah, blah, blah.
Huh.
I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't want to do trumpet, so I just scrapped music for like the first like 2-3 years of high school.
Hmm.
And then in grade 10, I was really close with in high school. I was really close with the one of my music teachers. She ran the choir,
Yeah.
so she was asking me. She's like, "Oh, you play kit, yeah?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh, we need a drummer."
Were you
for
in the
this
choir,
song."
or-
Nah, I was
Okay.
just in her music class.
Yeah.
She's like, "We need a drummer for this like one song in the choir. Do you want to do it?" I'm like, "Oh, hell yeah, yeah, I'll do that."
Yeah.
And then I did it, and then actually no, I think it was younger than that. It must have been grade 7 when I did that.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I was young. Anyway, I did something for the choir, and then people were like, "Oh, this guy plays drums. Like, since when?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "I told you when I got here."
Yeah. Yeah.
And
You
they're
wouldn't
like,
let me.
Yeah. And then then I finally got into like the percussion stuff, and I hated the percussion stuff. Like the orchestral, like I was like, oh, so boring. Now I actually am like, okay, that's cool, but like back then I was like, oh, I hate this.
Hmm.
But the drumming I loved it, and then yeah, I kind of just played it in school, and then yeah, got into uni, majoring in drums, which is exciting, I guess. I like I love playing drums, but then like along there, just picking up like guitar and keys and stuff. So recently, I've really been enjoying playing guitar. I don't know, just like it's been really fun for me. So yeah, I don't know. Drums is cool though. I really do enjoy the drums. That's my like roots for sure. Like percussive rhythms and stuff. Like, yeah. I'm playing with a few bands at the moment, which is fun because
Mm.
I'm in like my actual band. We're called Mondeo. We play kind of a bit of mix of music, bit of like, indie rocky, bit of reggae, bit of soul. It's kind of just we're still kind of figuring out our real sound.
Right.
So play that, and then I'm playing for 2 bands coming up in June for like a gig, and that's more like neo soul R&B stuff, which is where I got my drumming inspiration from. So
Okay.
I'm excited to play with that kind of music more.
Right.
But yeah, it's cool. Yeah, drums is really good. I love drums. It's so much fun. It's just hard to afford every instrument to get a nice one. Like, I've been like really like, okay, man, I really want to get a new guitar, like so bad, because my guitar is quite nice. It's good. It's like an Ibanez Les Paul from like 1975. It's like super old,
Nice.
and I'm like, I really just want to get a Tele, like a new Telecaster. And then I'm like, okay, no, before I do that, I should get some new hi-hats because I'm a drummer, right? And then like, actually, no, before that, I should get some like CDJs. It's like the endless
The gear,
loophole.
yeah.
It's all so expensive.
Mm,
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But hey, one day, hopefully we can make enough money to afford it all. I mean, Foot Locker's not doing that well.
Need to start working with Manny's music.
I know. But it's okay. One day. It's just like dedicating enough time to get good at everything. That's the other thing too. Because like some days I'll be like, want to focus on DJing, just getting my scratching right, blah, 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 blah.
Mm.
Other days I want to focus on, playing rhythms or whatever. Like I have like drum lessons at uni, so learning the content that my teacher gives me. Other days I want to, write a song. Other days I want to produce like it's like trying to like just like I don't know, get it like. I don't want to be like mediocre, like the different stuff I do. I'd rather be like at least like good, really good at one thing, and then like mediocre at the others. I mean, so it's just like finding the balance between that as well. But it's cool. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good fun.
Is the one thing at the top DJing?
Nah, I don't know what it is. I like playing everything. Like, I'm too indecisive. Good at everything. Like, even just choosing the tea that you're offering this morning. I'm like, oh, this looks really good. this is also really good. Like, I don't know. So it's like, I don't know.
Well, hang on. Being indecisive and being a music selector seems like a hard
Yeah, it
thing
can
to
be.
bear.
I think for DJing, it's okay. I think, I don't know, because I kind of have like an idea of like reading the crowd and like, okay, they'll respond well to this song. They might like this song, blah, blah, blah.
Hmm.
But yeah, for like, definitely for like production, it can be a bit, sometimes I'm like, oh, which one sounds better? Blah, 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 blah. But it's okay. With music, but also I feel like with music, it's kind of like, I kind of go off my initial reaction as well. It's like, I know that this sounds good, so I'll choose that.
Mm.
Whereas like, if it's like food, it's like, oh, I don't know which one's better. Which one should I get type of thing.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
Well, Sai, best of luck with your many, many, many creative projects.
Thank you.
And
Appreciate
thank
that.
you so much for coming on today.
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it.
Cheers.
Thank you, bro.
您看过那么知名的